Hey, ladies, welcome to High Heels and Destiny. Today is Fantastic Friday. We have our special guest on board with us today, Christina Garrett. She is the owner and founder of Momathon. I pronounced it right, Momathon?
Yes, you got
Okay,
it.
I want to make sure I got it right. Okay, Momathon. She is the owner and founder of Momathon, you guys. Christina, she's a life coach, and she focuses on helping single moms finding purpose, to find purpose and to overcome minor setbacks in their lives. So, Christina, I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Oh, well, Naranda, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on board. It's such a blessing.
Absolutely. It's a blessing to connect with you as well. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, whatever time you are watching this live or whatever time zone you're in. I'm Christina Garrett, owner and founder of the Momathon Diaries and organization movement. I am a pastor's wife and homeschooling mom of 5 awesome but very loud children. I also am a coach that works with women in leadership, specifically moms who are trying to get more done by strategically doing less. We focus in on time management, focusing on your priorities, self-care, wellness, and the self-awareness that you need to balance your goals and career aspirations, as well as to mother well. So that's what we do.
Awesome, Christina. And if they want to find you, because I want to go ahead and put this information out before we even get started, okay? If they want to find you, what is your website? What is your social media? How can you be found?
Absolutely. Well, I'm on Facebook and the gram at the Momathon Diaries, Momathon, and also on the web at www.runningamomathon.com.
Awesome. You guys, she have good reels. Can I share the one about so she did this reel, and it was she went in the laundry room, and when the kids left a bowl and a spoon in the dryer with the clean clothes. So it was just so funny, you guys, but it was a transparent moment just to show you this is really what happens. This is really what happens. It was just so cute and funny. Who puts a bowl that they had ate out of in the dryer with the spoon, just sitting there, just chillaxing?
Yes, my 3-year-old. And he probably didn't even eat nothing. He was probably just carrying it around, and he put a baseball in it. And I go to get the clothes out of the dryer,
and it's just sitting there, just chilling.
And it's just sitting there. I was like, you know what? This is a moment, because this is parenting. What happened here? You don't understand. You don't get it. How did it end up here? And nobody knows nothing. This is what I always have. This is motherhood.
So funny. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right on in, Christina. I want to know, what is your purpose? What led you to wanting to be able to help single moms?
Wow. Well, I'm not a single mom. I'm a wife and a mom, but really the Momathon mission started 10 years ago. I guess my twins are 11 now, where I had my oldest son. He was wanting some change. We found out we were pregnant again, and we go to the doctor for our first ultrasound. She's, doing the wand and everything. And we look on the screen. I said, can you see the baby's eyes already? And she says, no, dear, those are multiple embryos. You're having twins. And we literally just wanted to pass out, black out. I'm finished. I'm done. My husband's holding our toddler who's still in diapers. Okay. And we're looking how in the world, we're in our early 20s. How in the world are we going to parent 3 small kids? And so the Momathon mission really stemmed from one mom's journey of wanting to record that you can love being a mother. You can love your kids. You can love everything that comes with them, but you don't have to like it every single day. You're allowed to operate in your full authentic self and say, I'm tired. I don't want to, I don't feel like it, and not feel guilty. There were people, I got a little shame, early on for this declaration, for saying, hey, I don't want to be around my kids all the time, and especially in that phase of life that I was in, I was really fragile, coming out of postpartum depression after the twins, extreme exhaustion, no sleep for days, feeling really burned out. and to understand that that wasn't how it was supposed to be. And so my purpose now in this season is to help women to feel seen, valued, and appreciated. That whether you have a significant other or not, whether you're dating or not, but if you're mommying and on this journey, that you're allowed to still, that your needs are still valid. Your self-care is not up for negotiation, that you don't have to feel guilty about wanting more for yourself. The question is, how are we going to go and get it? How do I love my family well, and then still bring my own dreams and desires into the picture? And so a lot of us, we know that we need to do better, but we might not know how. And so my purpose is to intertwine those two places.
So let me ask you this question. Are most of your clients more single moms or, two-parent households?
It depends on the mom. A lot of them are two-parent households, but we do have, our tribe is multi-generational,
okay.
and what's the word I'm looking for? Different family statuses, so
okay.
Some ladies are dating, some are single moms, maybe dad is involved, maybe he's not, and so some of it really varies, but I only work with mothers.
Okay.
I only work with moms. Yes. And one of the things that I learned even from being married, right, which is a stretch, okay, is that my husband doesn't solve my problems. So even he doesn't fix loneliness, because he's not God. He's not Jesus, right? Even being married, it's amazing to have that extra support, that extra encouragement, that extra person in the house to kind of put your foot down and things like that, and to help lead the home. But he cannot be here all the time. He cannot be here all the time. So even when we are trekking things by ourselves, I have to remember that God is the one that gives me the strength and the encouragement to push forward. A significant other does not cure my loneliness, lack of motivation, or all of these things, And so we can find support in various places, not just in a romantic partner. There are lots of ways for us to do that.
That's so good that you say that, because a lot of single moms feel like, well, if I had a husband, this would be easier. But, I talk to a lot of married women, and a lot of married women, you can still be married and still be doing it all by yourself, So when you said just really finding that strength from God, that's very, very important that people know that. And so before we go any deeper, let's just start at the beginning, and then we're going to dive in deeper. So so for the record, she have 4 boys, 1 girl.
Yes.
The first one at 22.
Yes.
Then you had your twins at 25. And girl, I got this going. Had the twins at 25. Then you had your other son at 30. And then the last one at 33, which is a total of 5. So we just kind of throw that out there so people can kind of see a timeline, and they can get more understanding of who you are as a person and what do your life really look like. And then you got married at what age?
21 while we were still in college. We got married while we were still in college. So there was, I think I graduated with a baby. So I went through was pregnant my senior year, spring break, I had my son. And then that May graduated from college.
So and I'm glad that you said that, because I gave that rundown to let people see that regardless, you can still achieve the goals that you want to achieve. You graduated from high school, and you also graduated from college.
Yes, absolutely. And then my husband started pastoring also while I was pregnant my senior year. And so there's been an escalating of responsibility, as an adult, you're constantly like, soon I'll focus on this, and soon it's going to slow down a little, and I get to put my attention over here, but you just never know how things will continue to evolve, in your life. So you have to make sure that you're focused on what matters.
And so also for the record, just to let you guys know, Christina homeschooled her kids, not because of COVID. Like, this is something that she have chose to do. She homeschooled her kids. So I just want to give you guys an overall view of her so you can just see her life. So when we feel like we have that moment where we feel like I can't do this, we have to think about, okay, if she's doing this, and if God give her strength to be able to do it, then we can do it also too.
And I think it's important that we go all in on what we're called to do. When my oldest son was getting ready to go into kindergarten, I felt like God was leading us to homeschool. Did I want to? No. I didn't want to, I always had a timeline, like everybody in this house is going to school and I cannot wait. I'm counting down the moments until they're all out the house and I have days alone. I could just sit and drink coffee. I don't know what I was thinking about doing. And God started to lay it on my heart. But when I say I had panic attacks, ladies, at the thought of my children being with me all the time. So I don't want anybody, when people are like, oh, she homeschools, oh, she's Mary Poppins or Nanny McPhee or whatever. It's like, no, I even some other days, like, okay, everybody, I'll be back. I love y'all. See you later, because I need a moment, time. I believe there's something, and I'm gonna have to coin this term called maternal sensory overload. It's just when mom has had enough. And there's just so much noise and constant stimulation, that you just need time off. So with me having 3 young children, it was like, I was overstimulated, and I had to figure out healthy ways to take care of me and to take care of them. And then really the Momathon mission started to pick up at that time, where it was like, okay, something is happening and I want to do what God has assigned me to do for this season of my life.
So, okay, as we go further, let's start first with let's target first postpartum depression. Let's start with that first, and let's roll it on through and just talk about we want to get authentic, you guys, about mom life, because I think oftentimes people put on this facade and make it like, oh my God, I'm the mom. But if you having that moment where you don't want to be bothered with your kids, that's okay. If you need a break, that's okay. Like, don't let anyone tell you like, oh, you're such a bad mom. So we're going to roll into that. So let's start with postpartum depression. When you had your kids, you were in your early 20s, ready to do life. And, you had one child and then bam, 2 more came after that. How did you go through postpartum depression? Because most women now goes through it. So how did you go through it? How did you handle it? How did you overcome it?
I think that a big, heavy part of the postpartum really came through severe exhaustion. Okay. So I already had a 2-year-old son. We already know how that goes. And then to have 2 more infants on top of him, it was like, God, could they please all just sleep at the same time? Like, would you just let everybody nap at the same time today? And so my husband working full time, he's in school as well. And so with me at home, the majority of the time, it was very wearing, emotionally, physically, to be on like that, to just be turned on all the time. I found that, and this is through self-awareness and learning, about yourself, I can't go more than 2 nights without good sleep. I will start to feel physically sick. Like my stomach will physically start to, I'm like, you know what? My stomach feels weird. I need to go to bed. Like my body is telling me that I need more rest. And so going through the postpartum journey, there will be days where my husband will stop by on his lunch break and I'm sitting in the hallway crying. And the kids are in the room in their beds. And I'm sitting in the hallway, and he would come home like, just go sit in the van for a few minutes, take a few minutes to yourself to decompress. I'll sit in the house with the kids. And then, when I go back to work, you can kind of come back in. And he saw that I was not okay. He saw that I wasn't okay. I think it's really important that we bring people closer to us. Sometimes our innate or first response is to push people away, or that's what we end up doing. My humanity is showing. I don't want everybody to see how human I am, but there should always be someone, especially I know your podcast is tuned into mamas who don't, may not have a man in the house with them. Listen, hey, girlfriend, your girl ain't okay. Can you come over with coffee? Because I'm not doing all right. I have a good friend. She has 2 small girls and she's expecting another. And I'm like, I already know you need to drop the girls off. Come on over. You need to do X, Y, and Z. Welcoming that, because I've been there where I've had small kids and you're just worn out, So the postpartum depression journey caused me to be more self-aware. Am I going down the hole again? Am I going down into the dark place again? What do I need to do to make sure that I stay out of that tunnel? So learning yourself, listening to yourself, honoring your journey as a woman, so that when you start to feel like I'm having that moment, you already know how to pull yourself out of it. So when I had my 4th son, when pregnancy number 3, child number 4, I knew, I said, baby, I'm afraid of getting as tired as I was before. And he was like, okay, I get that. And I had to make the decision not to breastfeed him because I needed more sleep. And I didn't want to become the old Christina again, who wanted to do it all and wanted to be super mom and all the things. So we're going to formula feed you and you'll be just fine, because I need to be able to hand you to a babysitter or hand you to dad or hand you to grandma and be able to step away, you know. And it sounds selfish, but self-care is selfish, and we're not mad at it. And we are not mad at it.
So when you breastfeed a child, because I never did the breastfeeding thing, I do know that makes them more attached to you, but is it that bad to the point where you can't move?
Listen, I'm not a breastfeeding mom. I'm not a breastfeeding advocate. When my nipples started bleeding, I was done. I was like, okay.
I didn't even know that happens. I didn't even know that can happen.
Yes, your nipples can like crack and bleed. And I was like, when I looked down and saw blood on something that's not supposed to bleed, I said, you know what? And then, okay, so I'll also add this, my senior year in college, okay, I'm in organic chemistry and genetics and stuff. And the doctor was like, if you want to get your milk supply, I did try. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I just never tried. But they were like, you need to wake up even during the night to pump or to whatever, to make sure that you're, you know, producing more milk and everything. And I was in college and I had a husband and I had a baby. And it was really, really hard. It was really challenging. So I made the decision, you know, he's crying, the baby, I'm trying to feed the baby. He crying, I'm crying. I said, okay, this is not working. It's not working. Then, you know, when the twins were born, I tried again. I'm doing like this. But we had no family to come down when we had the new babies. It was me, my husband, the toddler looking at us, wondering why we look so frazzled, and then the two babies. And so for me, it was like, it's my mental health or this decision or this journey, you know. And it's okay for you to choose like, why be a shell of a woman? If you really want to give your kids the best of you, that's not only through your breast milk, or that's not only through homeschooling, or that's not only through, it's the best version of who you are. You know, all of that is a season. My kids are brilliant. They haven't had much breast milk at all. They so smart, it makes no sense. It's because it's nurturing over the only nature or scientific component of it, you know? So I think, you know, for the mom, sometimes we feel guilty giving up something. You feel bad. And it's like, well, who's judging you? It's just like when you work out and you're almost nervous about if you're going to do bad or good during your workout, and you're at home by yourself, or you're out running by yourself, you know, who's judging you? And if they are, does their opinion really matter? So we have to make sure that some things we just got to let go of in pursuit of the greater good, in pursuit of the greater promise.
So let me ask you this. How did you cope from day to day? Like, you know, we're going through postpartum depression. How did you find balance in each day? How did you find peace in each day? Well, okay, yeah, your husband may come home, relieve you for a few hours, but after, you know, I mean, for an hour on his lunch break, but once he leaves, you get to go right back to reality, you know? And even though you get that woo-saw, I mean, what's 45 minutes when you're dealing with kids all day?
Yeah.
You know, it's like a teaser, you know, it's like a teaser.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, he did that part. So when he walk away, he goes back to work. What's that place of peace? What's that place of adjustment that you find like, okay, this is what the situation is. How can I make my best in this situation because it's not going anywhere?
Okay, so here's a big component of it. I suggest every mom has goals that have nothing to do with her family. So my goal, I decided to start running. Okay. I maybe done 1 5K with my oldest son when he was, you know, a baby, you know, year 1, but I had to go back and get those tennis shoes again and bring it over to after I had the twins. So that was if it was only 30 minutes, 35 minutes, if I only had, my husband's like, I got to leave in a half an hour. Okay. I'll be back. I promise. And I would get the Couch to 5K app, or I would grab a watch, right? An actual Timex type watch, and time myself, jog a minute, walk 90 seconds, because I knew what the plan was. I had to go back and pick up that habit because that was something that had nothing to do with anybody else, only myself. So I suggest that every mom goes and finds a goal. If it's fitness related, fantastic. If it's listen, you want to do it, learn to pole dance, learn to do something, take up something that will move your body and your mind forward. I would start kickboxing or Tae-Boing in my house, and then I would put all 3 toddlers on the double stroller and go walk for an extra 45 minutes or an hour, because that was going out into the sun was my saving grace. You have to step away from your normal, and that will cause a shift in perspective. That was really what I was like, okay, God, it's only one me, and I need to make it through the day with all the kids in tow and everybody okay. So I would work out at home, and then I would put everybody in the stroller, and we would all leave out and go for a walk for an extra 45 minutes. Bonus, I lost like 50 pounds.
That was all the resistance from pushing the stroller.
Listen, so I went from like a 16 to a 6.
Oh, wow.
It's like a 16 to a 6. I mean, do 45 minutes of, Tae-Bo or Shaun T or whatever in my house, and then go out and push the babies. And, but that was my, my deep breath. I may have to go in the evening when I had a babysitter. Now, remember, my husband worked full time, in school full time, all the things. He wasn't home all the time. No matter what he may claim, he was not, he was gone. So I had a neighbor who also had toddlers. Do we need to swap out? Right? I take 30 minutes. You take 30 minutes. I had a good friend. Hey, listen, can you come over for a half an hour while I go and run? And then, after that, I'll help you with whatever. Like, we have support systems all around us, but a lot of times we don't tap into those things. And then we say, I'm missing out because nobody supports me. But that's not the case.
That's true.
You may need to go and tap into these other resources. And there's also an empowering feeling of remembering that those children are yours. Yes, you made them with somebody else. He may or may not be in the mental space or physical space to do everything that he needs to do for your child or for those kids, but they're your kids. Unless you have some outstanding circumstances, most of us enjoyed making them kids, okay? Like we had all the fun making them bad. Like, you were very present, okay? You were very present. Even if you were surprised, you were present, right? You present accounted for, you were happy to be there. So, for a lot of us, we got to own our responsibility in that, say, y'all are my kids. If daddy doesn't come home till 10 p.m., y'all still got to do right. If dad has to go, my husband pastors, if daddy got to go visit the sick and do this or travel, I have to be able to handle this. You know what I mean? And to tap into the resources that we need to.
So let me ask you a question. I know earlier you mentioned you were saying like trying to get the kids like on the same nap time schedule. Did you ever get to a place that you got, because you get one down, did you ever get to a place of getting all the kids down on the same nap schedule?
Yes. Okay. Yes, we did. But here's how I handled it. All right. If every little bit that I got, I thank God for. So this is what I mean. If everybody got in the bed and they were all laying down for 7 minutes. If the house was quiet for 7 minutes, I was like, God, thank you for this 7 minutes. If it turned into 10, thank you, God, for 10 minutes of quiet. If it turned into 20 or 30 or an hour, oh my God. But I expected 5. You see what I'm saying? I expected 5 minutes. So if you get anything over that, then
it's a bonus.
It's like a shift. Yeah, it's like a shift in perspective. It's like, okay, well, everything's quiet. I got this. I'm just gonna sit here on the floor for this. Just fully embrace this moment of quiet. And if it goes longer than that, then you could just shout all by yourself, just have church all by yourself. But if it doesn't, then your expectation was, I'm gonna get this 5 minutes and then I'm back to work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of just a shift.
Yeah. Okay, so let's shift into the next thing. Okay, so let's talk about how we can help like moms, single moms, just moms, women, period. Yes. Because oftentimes when moms, especially too with women that's married, you feel like, okay, I want to take care of the household. So some women give up and become a stay-at-home mom. But like me and you had this discussion when we was talking, like, how can moms still be able to fulfill and reach their purpose? Because you and your husband had that conversation. Like, because sometimes moms feel like, well, you know, me having a kid, you know, holding me back. Me staying, being a stay-at-home holding me back. Me being a single mom is holding me back. How can a woman still walk in purpose despite thereof?
You know, I feel like you need to know what that purpose is. Now, your why is usually pretty consistent. How you accomplish it will probably change. Okay. So my mission, for example, is to help women in leadership, moms, especially in leadership, to blossom in what they're called to do while balancing family. Now that is the intangible things that you can't grab onto, like, oh, motivation and inspiration, hope, having faith that you can, confidence, all of these things. But then there's the things that you can touch, like laundry and dishes and feeding kids, and like all these are tangible. It's hard for me to feel inspired, right, when there's this whole other list of things that I can feel and touch that are going undone. So if you actually know what it is that you want to see accomplished, even as, you know, you're a coach, I'm a coach, you know, growing that mission, growing that business, the movement of it, right? The movement of it can be tangible and intangible. So you need to figure out what exactly do you want to accomplish in the next 6 months to a year. In the next 6 months to a year, what is it that you want to see happen? So when the year started for me, I said, I want to be in the New York Times, like a major national publication, right? I want to be in Essence. I want to do There's like multiple things that I want to accomplish in this year. And I'm like, I'm not, you know, we checking it off. So you have to know though, what it is that you want. You know, how in the world can your family gather around you, rally and support you? Kids are selfish innately. Like they just are. They come out thinking about themselves, and you have to teach and train them that, listen, mommy is not your entertainment center. I'm not your maid. I'm laying down. The blanket is over my head. Yes, my toddler comes in and asks for milk. Go ask your sibling. I'm going to sleep. Like but we have to figure out how we're going to delegate to other people in a really strategic fashion, you know, but I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm not here to meet every need. I'm not a superhero. You know, moms get tired. I'm tired. Like I need a break, you know, and most of the time your family and the people around you would rather see you take that break than them have to deal with you in like your irritated, cranky, psycho mom mode.
So let me ask you this. A lot of moms may feel like, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom, or maybe they're not a stay-at-home mom. Maybe they work 8 to 5, but they got these goals that they want to achieve. How can they find the time to get that stuff started so that they can begin to check those things off the list?
Okay, so our pillars of productivity are fourfold. I'm gonna give them real fast. Number one is to create a family vision. What is it that you want for your family? What were your hopes and prayers for your kids, for the people living in your household when you found out you were pregnant? What do you want your kids to say about you when they go off to college and when they start a family of their own? If they begin to do the things that you're doing right now, will you feel honored and like, oh my gosh, they're living this out like I did it in our house? Or will you feel horrified? Like, oh my God, my daughter is working from sun up to sundown. She's staying up all night, typing away on the computer, working on her business, and she's not going to sleep with her husband. I don't want that for her. Why are we showing that to her? Why are we showing them moms that don't take breaks or rest? So we want to make sure we are outlining a family vision that we want to see continued in the future generations. Okay. Number two, communicate. So we got create and then communicate. Communicate means to tell the people that live with you and the people that love and support you what you need. And then begin to give it to them, that information, in a way that they can receive and respond to. How do do we need to sit down with a mediator, right? With our partner, significant other, the dad of the kids, right? As you all try to co-parent successfully, do we need to sit down and just outline, in a better way what I need and what you need from me so that we parent these children successfully? How do I need to talk to my children? If y'all can't read for real yet, do I need to draw the picture of y'all toys on the thing and say, pick this up. Like, go look at the chore chart. This is your line. This is your name. And this is a way to communicate with them that they can receive and respond to. So go look for your name and look at the picture. The picture of the toys means go pick your stuff up. Okay.
And you know what? I think that's very important too, is giving kids responsibility. I think oftentimes moms, we feel like, well, they only 3 or 4 or 5, like kids can understand, you know, the way you train them, giving them responsibility, and that little responsibility, like you said, picking up a toy too, that can relieve you, they can help you, you know, giving kids responsibility. Yes. Don't automatically assume, well, that child is just 3, she don't know, or 4. Like I taught my child about 4 or 5, like she know how to make up a bed and clean up. Like, no ma'am, make up a bed and clean up at that young of an age. Like we was singing that song. I think it was Dora, clean up, everybody. We were singing that song. Come on, baby, let's sing and clean up. You know, finding something to make them get motivated and excited to want to clean up, not just say clean up, but maybe find a cute little song and then get them amp about cleaning up. But those little things also can be a factor, can play an important factor into helping a mother, helping a single mom, helping a married, whatever household, just being able to help out, so that that's one less thing you have to do within that day.
Yes, absolutely. So you have to be able to communicate it though, and make sure that they can respond to it. Like, this is practical. You're not just saying, hey, significant other, hey, husband, hey, father of my kids, I need help. You have to say, I need help with this. Can you pick James up from soccer on Thursdays? This is a very specific way that we are asking for support. My husband, I remember there were days he would come in, he's a barber, he stands for a living. When he comes in the house, sits down and kicks his shoes off, he is done, right? So he would say, babe, if you need me to take the trash out, can you just ask me before I take my shoes off? He said, because I've been standing for 12 hours. And I'm like, I feel that. He said, can you just leave it outside the door? This is before my sons were old enough to take trash out. He said, can you just leave it outside the door for me, so when I get there, I can take it out before I come in and rest? Yes. So it was a communication of something that irritated me, right? But something that irritated him in turn. How can we communicate better? So number 1, we create a family vision. Number 2, we communicate with our loved ones in a way they can receive and respond to. Number 3, we delegate. Okay, and this goes along with the communication aspect of chores or saying what we need. We're going to take some of the things off of our plate that it's not up to us to do. I don't have to do all the things, all right? But delegating takes time and it takes training. If you want your kids to clean the kitchen right, what happens is we'll say, go clean the kitchen. They don't do it the way we want it. So we swoop in to save the day. And what we have to do instead is pull back and say, okay, I got to train you to do this. And training you to do it the right way or my way takes time. Okay. Every mama, if we think back, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties had a certain kind of way that they wanted their house, a certain kind of way. Don't mess with my plants. Don't touch. Hey, little kid, when you come in here, this is the way the castle is set up, and you don't get to just move everything about just because you feel like it. So we have to teach and train our children. My kids know better than to touch my plants. It is not a game. Like these are the children that give back to the house. I had to delegate, a lot of the cleaning aspects and things, but I had to train my children on how to do it correctly. So we create the vision, we communicate with our loved ones, we learn to delegate the things that we don't have to do. Nobody cares who sweeps the floor, nobody cares who cleans the kitchen. That's something, but there are certain things that only you can do. And then number 4, we alleviate our stress and our overwhelm through practical self-care, through self-awareness, wellness practices. If you need to take up a hobby, go take up a hobby. If you need to get more books to read, get more books. If you need to buy the kind of coffee that you love, do that. If you need to press pause on certain times throughout the day, do that. But you have to know what gives you life and helps you to thrive so that you can plug that into your day-to-day journey.
So one question, which I think I already know the answer to this, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. For for some moms that's married and for some moms that's single, how do we prevent them from, because I hear a lot of moms on both sides where they build that resentment up. because you said you and your husband, you guys communicated and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe in some marriages where they may communicate it to their husband, but there's still a lack of help. Or maybe for a single mother that may communicate it to the father, there's still a lack of help. And so resentment build up because of these responsibility. What is a way that, those moms can take care of that situation?
So there is a delicate balance. Everybody hear me. We can, as women, go too far in the other direction. Mm-hmm. By this, I mean, even as a married woman, I can go grab that independence that's been sitting on the shelf, right? When you didn't show up like I needed you to do, or, maybe I didn't communicate that need well, or I did it, and you didn't do what I think in my mind you should have done. We'll go grab our independence off the shelf and begin to tote it around. Like, I'll take care of it myself. I got it covered, blah, blah, blah. We can do this as a single woman. We can do it as a married woman. We can do it when we're merging the two, right? Because a lot of us are dating somebody. We might be engaged, but not married yet. Or we're hoping to be married one day, right? We're looking for, handsome 6'2" chocolate brother with a good career to come on, segue his way into our life, right? So what we want to do instead to avoid that resentment is first to make sure we're communicating well, okay? And then to remember that you can carry the independence here, but not put it in the backpack. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Backpack, we want to keep this with us. We're going on a long journey. Mm-hmm. But I can have this pen here with me, carry it to go back to my calendar, write such and such down, and then lay the pen down because I don't need it no more.
Right.
So in order to avoid the resentment, there are days like Momathon conference weekend. I'm like, listen, hey, babe, I already know he works Friday, Saturday, church on Sunday. Okay. So what Christina will do is I'll set up the babysitter myself, baby. You don't even have to worry about X, Y, and Z. There'll be food in the house. I'm not going to say, well, you fix it. You handle it. I'm going to go do me and all this other stuff. I'm going to make sure that the house is stocked. Okay. I'm going to make sure the kids are good. If there's a babysitter needed, because I'm gone for 3 days straight, I make sure that those things are implemented. So I'm not mad at him for doing something that I already knew he was going to do. Mm-hmm. I already know. Fridays, I see him when I see him. He's like, yeah, I got appointments at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. That means you rolling in the house at 10, 11 in the evening because people going to go party on the weekend, right? They're going to go party on the weekend. He cuts hair for a living. To merge everybody together. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I already know he works long hours on the weekend. Mm-hmm. My silly self says conference weekend, I want to go YOLO with my best friends, lead the movement, be I'm every woman, all this kind of stuff. So I have to have certain things lined up to take the resentment away. I already knew he was going to go do this. I already know he's going to work. Like, this is not new.
And and that's crazy that you say that about delegating, because that does happen, because women, we expectation kills so much stuff,
Oh my God.
And it just a little bit off subject, but I remember a pastor said that the reason why people divorce is because of expectations. And and it's just in general, our expectations, like you said, it's no need for you to get mad because you already know what it's going to be. So rather than us getting mad and be like, well, you should and you need to, okay, let's just find another way to create a better plan so that we don't even have to go there. I don't even have to build this resentment against you. Let's just find a way that can work for the both of us, and we can keep on moving.
Absolutely. So for example, I need a night off with the girls. We want to go kiki at Longhorn or whatever, go out, hang out, get coffee and dessert and all the things. Okay. So you know that your significant other is on a work schedule, or if you need to move some things around to leave the house for several hours, call the sitter. Pay for the sitter. Say, babe, I'm not going to be home, but the sitter will be here, right? You have it circled on the calendar. You let him know that such and such is happening and all the movements around. You let your kids know about what's happening, right? We're including the whole family in mommy's time to step away. Okay, I'm taking a break.
Let me ask you this. When you say a sitter, Do that mean a family member when you say the word sitter, or do that means like someone that you have maybe went on the app and hired, caregiver, and it's called caregiver or something like that? What is sitter?
Care.com.
Care.com. I'm like,
Listen,
okay, care.com. So what is sitter for you?
We're paying for somebody to come to the house and keep the house from catching on fire and keep our kids alive till I came back home. Okay. That could be a family member, right? Mm-hmm. That could be somebody that you have to pay. Mm-hmm. If you a business owner or you a mama in the workplace, set something aside for when you need to take time off. Mm-hmm. Like, and I realized, I said to myself, okay, if Christina wants to have more time, especially when my kids were smaller, right? We've been doing the conference now for 5, this is our year 6. So let's think back 3-4 years ago, my son wasn't old enough to babysit the younger kids, right? Or to be the responsible party in the house. So that means I have to call somebody. I don't even like having to call. My husband say, babe, I need money for whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Or I feel like, so that means I need to step up my business life. Mm-hmm. That means that if I need to have a sitter that comes over for 4 hours, I have the money to pay that sitter. Mm-hmm. If you know a friend who has a teenage child that can responsibly manage your house, if you have a church member who they say, oh yeah, so-and-so babysits my kids and they're really great, their anointing is in childcare, but they just don't do it full time. Wonderful. Slide me her information, because we have to be able to do that, to be able to take those moments.
And I think that, as moms, we are very protective and so scary that I'm not saying be free, but we got to get a little more confident in God, because, we be feeling like with so much stuff happening with kids and all that stuff, people like, well, I don't want to because this happened. People do. I think we just got to get that relationship in God and find some peace and confidence and just say, God, look, your girl need a sitter, God. Your girl need a break, God. God, would you put somebody in my path, send someone my way, and so that they do this. And see, women, we don't do that, and we stressed, we mad, we angry, and it's like because we don't want to we may not have family, because some people don't have family, so we may not have any family. But then we have these options, like you said, care.com, or maybe a church member or something like that, neighbors. And then we just got to do it. We just got to do it, staring out, and just put in God's hand and just trust that, okay, He's gonna lead me to the right person that can be a sitter at this time in this season in my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that is the key to taking a lot of the resentment away, is you stepping to the forefront and saying, I'll take care of this. I'm not going to carry my independence on my back, right, as a forever thing, but I can pick it up for a little while and say, I can take care of this myself, and then put it down when it's time to incorporate other people into it. But what we do, sometimes we put it on our back and we say, I'm not taking it off. So even when we have a partner who comes in to walk this road with us, even when our kids are old enough to help out around the house, even when people say, hey, let me know if you need anything, we decline all of the above in lieu of the superwoman cape and say, I want to hold on to that. And so what we have to do instead is say, hey, I'm going to hold it here, take care of this individually right now, and then when I'm able to, I will sit it down and do things a better way.
And you know what? And I think it goes back to the resentment, because a lot of, married women and just single moms, that's where that resentment start to be, because they like, well, he living his life. He get to go with his homeboys. He get to go do this. And I'm here with these doggone kids. And that anger. And then now it's causing more friction between whether you're married, it's causing friction. Or if you're not married, it's causing friction between that relationship. But like you said, once again, being able to communicate and delegate. And if that means like, okay, I already know this not going to happen this way. There's no need for me to get mad about this. Let me just go ahead and go on care.com. So he may not be able to get the kids or want to get the kids. Let me go ahead and take care of this, do what I need to do, because the mom end up start feeling like they missing out on their life while the other person is just living their best life. And we just gotta delegate.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's okay to do that. Even if you're in a relationship or you're dating or you want to date or want to get married, we can pick up the independence, hold it for a second, right? Hold on to say, you know what? Nobody, if nobody else takes anything away from this, please, nobody can be everybody to you all the time. Just like you aren't everything to everybody all the time. You've disappointed somebody. You have not been able to show up for somebody. And what did you expect for them to do? for them to continue on about their life and not sit there and hold on to the fact that you couldn't babysit for them that one time. You know what I mean? Right. So we have to release it. I had to release my husband when we moved from our small rural church to a church in more of a, you know, and nothing in Alabama is really city, but you know, but to a church with a couple hundred members and lots of sick and shut in. And he was going to see everybody in deacon meetings and just managing so much more responsibility. And I was upset that he wasn't at home like he was, you know? And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, God showed me I have to learn to miss you less. I said, I got to learn to miss you less. He said, I don't like the sound of that. I said, it's okay. I said, but I have to give you the freedom to be who God told you to be. And I have to be able to hold the family down while you're doing visiting people and doing all the things. Now he does it so well within balance, you know, like he really tries hard to, if we haven't spent time or things like that, to make sure that, but listen, I got my own thing working over here. And I think sometimes when we don't have our own thing, we're mad at everybody else who got their thing going on. And you wonder why you don't have a thing. So
that's a red button right there. And I think that's really where that's where that point coming, because you sitting there, you got the devil like an idle mind. So your mind is idle. You like, look at them. You on Facebook, they doing something. They doing, I'm mad. These doggone kids, they running around. My husband over there, he's smiling and laughing. And now you're angry. So that's definitely good. Yeah. So
and if I can interject to what you just said, like especially social media triggers us a lot. Like you said, it's a red button issue, because yesterday I put a post up on Facebook, a celebratory moment, and then I felt guilty about putting it up because I said, dang, am I celebrating too much? I was like, am I celebrating too? Like I actually had that moment. Like, am I celebrating? Are people looking at me like, dang, she doing the most? And I was like, but you know what? I've had to put a lot of seeds in the ground related to my business, related to coaching, related to the speaking and appearances and all there's no list of the amount of things that, you know, we have to do over the seat to build your receipts up. You feel me? Like as a business owner, as a woman who wants to go to the next level, and we talked about this when we talked the last time, it's like the next level requires more work and more grind and more doing stuff that other people say this is doing too much. But because I see my finish line, which is I want to do Essence Wellness House, right? Where we talk about women's wellness, not just the physical component, but the spiritual component of it. I want that. I want that slot. I want that chair. So if I want that chair, then I better do all the work that it takes, all the receipts to get me to that chair. You know what I mean? And sometimes when we're looking at other people, because we're not willing to schedule it, do the work, stay up an extra 30 minutes or wake up an extra 30 minutes early and record that content or schedule that content or work on my business plan, because I don't want to do all this extra, you know, so-and-so is doing too much. And then we get resentful. And so it can happen to the best of us. It can happen to the best of us.
But content is ghetto. I mean, content is so much work by itself, girl.
So ghetto.
It's a whole nother life.
Editing reels is trash.
Yes, like it's so. And then the reels take so long, even though it's 15 seconds. It may really take you an hour for 15 seconds.
I'm not changing no clothes. Y'all about to get this real life.
People actually change real life and all that stuff, girl. So anyhow, so me and you had the conversation because we winding down.
Yes.
Me and you had the conversation about there's moms that's in, you know, that's a part of your organization that is achieving, that's thriving, that's goals. So tell, you know, all moms, like, girl, you can get it. Girl, you can do it. Like, this is not a stop, you know, a stop or a setback in your life. Pick up your bag and you walk.
Oh my gosh. So there are so many. My husband told me this and it pissed me off. He told me this when my twins were little. My twins were babies. He was like, there are people with more on their plate than you, and they're doing it. And at needless to say, I wanted to like karate chop him to the throat. Right? I was like, who are you talking to? I would be doing all of this stuff if I had this, and if I had that, and if I had that, and I can't plan X, Y, and Z because of your work schedule and you're not home. And I had all of these reasons why it was not going to work. He said, but God is doing something in you and it's going to be major, but you got to walk this process out. Now he he's right about most stuff. No matter, he'll probably listen to this and say, I knew you would say it. You know, he was right. Like, he was right. And so now things have grown so much. But for every mom who's starting out, for every mom who is like, I have this big thought, this big dream, and it feels bigger than me, you know, and I don't have time to do it. What do you have time for? You know, am I doing things that are unnecessary? And now I'm saying that the unnecessary stuff is the reason why I can't do X, Y, and Z. So while you're at soccer practice or basketball practice, waiting to pick up your kid, you could be posting content. Mm-hmm. You could be doing the casual reel. My reels with just me riding in the car with my kids do the best. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the simplest content, us in the car together, jamming, going to church, going to do whatever, you know, a 1 minute snippet, a 3 minute snippet of you talking about something that aligns with your purpose, you know, that aligns with your gift. Like, you can take these mini moments and post 3 times a day. It doesn't have to be the major. Start the conversation about what you're passionate about. Continue the conversation on the days that you don't feel like it. Make it shorter, but show up anyway. Be consistent. And that's the struggle for a lot of us, is that we don't want to keep going.
And like you said, we waste so much unnecessary time. We make unnecessary necessary. And for example, what I mean about that is social media. We just spent 2 hours, 3 hours on social media. That's 2 or 3 hours we could have been like, we could have did something that we had to do. You know what I'm saying? But we spent maybe an hour and a half on the phone with the best friend. That was 5 hours out of 20. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. That was 3 more hours where you could have maybe wrote one thing about your business. You could have created a content. You could have prayed, asking God to show you the business, going out, working on your body for the business, just, you know, taking care of your health and whatever you need to be, preparing yourself mentally, emotionally, as well as physically for the business. And so we say, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. But if that times me taking away social media for 2 hours out the day, taking less phone calls, 2 hours out the day, stop giving things your attention that does not require your attention, you know, that's time.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's time.
You are so right. You're so right. So we'll spend hours scrolling, hours on Netflix, hours doing what, and I understand wanting to unplug from the day. Trust me, I get it. But it's like, you get to unplug after you plug in. Ooh. And some of us ain't plugged in yet. Some of us have not. And this is where I was talking about receipts, right? Talking about receipts and doing your work. And so when people come and find you, they got something to find. Like, people will come upon your page or come upon your whatever, and you're not putting out anything that's of value. You're not putting out anything that says, hey, come walk with me on this journey, right? What we're laying out here, what you're building, what I'm building is a journey. It's a process. So what we'll do though is we will want to have, you know, this big following. We'll want to have all the engagements, all the opportunities, clients coming to us, right? You just look up and you got calls scheduled for people that want to work with you, but you don't want to post nothing. Like, you gotta post like this is gonna retire you. You gotta listen. I be lunch and learning, like, this is where my client is gonna find me. So people come and they say, wait a second, I needed this information. Let me go look at her stuff. And then somebody came into my group and they said, I don't know how I got this link, but I need help. Wonderful. You at the right place, you know, but we don't post like this is going to retire us from our 9 to 5. We don't think about it like that. We think about it like, this is my hobby. It's like, no, this is my thing.
And you know what? I think that we have to be more intentional about showing up for our life every day, because if you don't show up for your life every day, who else is? It's your life. And I always say this is my motto. Your life is counting on you. And you know, your life is counting on you, and you is counting on you. So you have to be very intentional about showing up for your life each and every day. Like, even with my business, I show up every single day, all day with my business or whatever. I may not even get to sell that week, the next week, or the next week, but I'm going to show up because this is a temporary stop. And sometimes we get so focused on the season, we were like, well, I'm creating content, ain't nothing happening. But sometimes it's not about the people. God wants to see, can you be faithful over a little bit? Because when you're faithful over a little bit, then he'll make you, you know, a ruler over a lot. You know,
Yes.
so it's just when God want to see, can you be faithful? Can you be faithful when you only got one customer? Can you only be faithful when you got one person watching that video? Can you still
Yeah.
be faithful? And I think sometimes we look at, once again, social media, we're like, well, dog, look at her. She got all those followers. But you don't know what it took for her to get to that point. You know, it took something for her to get to that point. It didn't just start off like that, you know?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
had to do the work, and no one wants to do the work. They just want this, as I say, microwave success. And it don't call microwave, it's oven bake.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, and this is based off of what you said, it's with this receipt building, you have to say, okay, how is it gonna come to me? All right. How is this opportunity gonna come to me? All right. So you can make the opportunities, right? I heard one coach, April Franks, she was like, if you don't have the media, build the media. What you're doing here is building media, right? You're building something for people to come and watch, something for people to engage in, something that helps to grow people, right? But then you also can go out for it. You can look up hashtag Black Women Who Podcast and connect with each and every one of those. There's got to be 1,000 on Instagram. And I promise you 999 out of the 1,000 have never heard of you and don't know who you are. And so Grant Cardone says in his book, The 10X Rule, that most of your business struggles are due to obscurity. People just don't know you exist. You're the answer to a problem, but people just don't know that you're there.
You know what my motto
so how
is?
do you?
I always say this, you're going to hear me raw. You know, when you think about a lion or tiger, like you're going to hear me. You may not see me, but I'm going to make sure you hear me. So if that means I got to post 1,000 times on this page, you can be like, oh God, at least she posted too much. Remove me. Good. Remove me. Okay. Your girl going to keep on posting because you're going to hear me. I'm determined you're going to hear you. You may not see me yet, but you are definitely, I'm going to get your attention. And you got to be that determined. You got to go out there like that. Like, I'm that determined. You're going to see me or you're going to hear me.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to tell you, this is the gem for everybody who just so happens to listen today. What part of the things that's on my goal is Essence Magazine, right? So I go in Walgreens like 2 months ago. I open up one of the issues and I'm looking on the cover. It says something like Black Motherhood in the Pandemic. I turned to my husband. I said, baby, how they gonna be talking about Black motherhood in the pandemic? I said, they didn't ask me nothing. I was like, look at this. I said, they talk about Black moms and the struggle of the pandemic. I said, they didn't come to me about nothing. You hear me? So here's what I did. I looked up the lady who wrote the article, slid in her messenger on Instagram, followed her, typed in one of her pictures, because on her thing it says like, tell me something good or something like that. Like, you know, something. I said, I slid in your messenger to tell you something good. Sent her a note. I said, listen, I read your article in Essence. It's dope. As a mom of 5, I can really appreciate these sentiments. Y'all need to send her something authentic to her specifically. No canned pitch. No, hey, I send the same thing to everybody. No, whatever. No. We're not doing that. We're being authentic, genuine, and specific to who we want to find. Okay. If the people at Essence Magazine don't know who I am, what do I need to do to make sure y'all know who I am? So it's 5 minutes later, she messages me back. She says, oh my gosh, first of all, thank you for noticing that I wrote the article. Thank you for even noticing that it was me. And I was like, girl, like that was what touched you, that you felt seen. We see you. So then maybe 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, we're on Zoom. And we chatting it up, talking about mom life and what she does and all the things. And I was like, listen, I'm kind of offended because you writing about motherhood. In essence, I said, you didn't call me at all. And she fell out. She was like, you are hilarious. She said, but next time I will call you. How do you go from they don't know who you are to here I am, I'm the person that you've been looking, I'm the resource you've been looking for. So we have to, they may stumble upon it, but there's a lot of things that you can go and knock on the door for. We got to stop waiting for it to come to us all the time. And then say, oh God, send me the blessing. You know, Amazon don't come to your door and drop off free stuff. You got to order it.
You got to order it.
That's the only way that
Faith
Prime is showing up at your door. You know, that's the only way they're coming. So you have to make sure though that you are doing those strategic things. And there's a host of other things I could talk about, but that's for another hour. But, you know, just making sure that you're doing the work. If they don't know who you are, go get them. Go find them, bring them to you. You know, they might not just stumble upon it.
That's how I got you, Christina. That's how I got you.
True.
I pulled you right on
gym is a gym. You hear me? We are on texting basis. She's coming to my Facebook group to teach a class on book writing. So, and I'm going to be on her thing, on her Instagram, like, listen, what we got to do to make it happen, to make these relationships happen, you know, where it's fruitful and it works, you know, it's just, you can wait for it or you can go get it.
And you know, something that's very important, you know, as women, we can get so boxed in as like, this is my circle. And I got this phrase, I don't believe in a circle. There's no way in, there's no way out. I believe in a tribe. You know, there's people behind me. It's always open to evolve, you know. And so we have to be open, because in doing stuff like this, meeting people, you know, even just chatting with you, you know, you meet some amazing people, and we got to get out this mind frame. It's like, this person like this I don't just deal with them. You would miss out on opportunities and blessings like that, because you come across some amazing people, just being able to have an open mind, stepping out your comfort zone, and being able to evolve.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's necessary. And you, like you said, your tribe is ever evolving, you know, and if you don't have people that are further along than you, like there's a young lady, girl, she works at Nike, right? She works in the training division at Nike. So I was like, listen, just know who I am, right? Like, let's connect. But I knew I wasn't the coach for her, but I said, I can mentor you. I was like, no charge, right? I was like, there's no charge for that. I said, because you're not my ideal client. I said, so, you know, you're not getting the coaching experience. Let's big sister, little sister. Right? Let's do that instead, because I know that I'll be able to serve you better with that. So there's a place of letting your tribe evolve, letting people, but I got friends who make 10 times what I make in a week, you know, like they just, and she's like, no, well, you know what, you don't need this, you need this. And kind of helping me to amend certain things as I grow my business. What do you think about this resource? You don't need that, you need that. You have to be able to have people that are a step ahead of you. And then you're working with people too that are behind you, where you guys are intertwining, you know, your strengths and her strengths, so that everybody's able to shine, you know. But I just fully believe, like, there's a lot of fruit that's coming from the seeds that I've sown in the last several years, you know, a lot of things that are springing up. And I'm like, listen, it's not just happening to me. Like, I need everybody to understand it's always by the grace of God. It's always by his power and his spirit, and me trying so hard to stay plugged into what he wants me to do, you know, trying to keep my motives right. And when I feel like they wrong, throwing them back at the foot of the cross, like, God, if I'm showing off, just let me, like, keep me where I'm supposed to be. And then simultaneously, hey, am I willing to do that work? Like, am I willing to do the work? So when they do get here to my Instagram page, to my Facebook page, to my group, they see fruit and they want to be connected to that fruit. So that's just give them something to see. They're going to come. If you ain't nothing there, then they're going to keep it moving.
Right. Because people definitely want to see, can you be consistent before they even invest into you? You know, they want to see, can you be consistent? And the last thing, we're going to wrap it on up. Let's just go ahead and we're going to make this short about being able to be transparent as moms. And me and you was talking, and I was like, during the pandemic, virtual school, my child did virtual school last year. And, you know, it became so overwhelming. You know, we seen each other 7 days a week, 365 days, you know, and people are trying to make you feel guilty. Like, I was just at a point where I was like, oh my God, you know, and I only have one child and she's 15. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, I just need a break. And people may say something like, well, you only have one kid, you know, and it doesn't matter whether you have one kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, or whatever. You're human. And if you need a break, you need a break. And people will try to make you feel guilty about that. And so what I would do was I would get in my car, go sit in the park, and just sit there in the park for 2 hours in the car and just let the car run, because even though my child gave me no problems, it was just needing to be able to have that space so that I can renew my mind and myself so that I can be a better, mother to her, a better person to myself. And when I started getting frustrated, I can't do that. And, people try to make you feel guilty, but these are transparent moments.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody needs time. And I feel like it's important for our sons and daughters to see us take that time. Mm-hmm. We're raising men, strong men, right? Who are going to be somebody's husband one day. My son, I got 4 boys. They're going to grow up. They're going to be somebody strong, game changer. Girl, I've been praying for this man. They're going to be that man, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to be that man for somebody's daughter. I want them to know that it's healthy to see their wife rest. Mm-hmm. Women need rest. There will be days where you take the kids to the park so she can take a nap. These are necessary, in order for her to feel like the best version of herself. She should be doing the same thing for you too, right? Mm-hmm. And then for my daughter, especially, like when she was really young, like 3, 4, I didn't like the person I was at that time. I was tired. I was mad. Mm-hmm. I had to change. And how do I expect something more for her if I'm not willing to do it for myself? So when we take pauses, when we say I'm overstimulated right now and I need to close the door, we're even showing our children that that's normal and healthy. We say, kids don't fight, kids don't be this way to each other, but they've just been overstimulated. Everybody go to their corners, come back out in an hour. It's okay for you to feel overcrowded, for you to feel like there's too much happening. I don't want anybody talking to me right now. That is a normal, healthy emotion. And we should not push ourselves or others to do things that are unhealthy. It's unhealthy for you not to be able to be by yourself. Mm-hmm. That's not normal. Like you should be able to sit in your own quiet, in your own space. And what we do is we innately go get on social media. We go get on the phone with a girlfriend. We go to feel that void because we're not used to the quiet and the solitude of being by oneself. Mm-hmm. So I always feel like don't feel guilty about it. Instead, do it within balance, right? We can't always be by ourselves. We can't always run away. Right. So how do I transform my home to be one that supports a different type of lifestyle, peace, and wellness?
And I think also too, as women, we need to hear each other out. Like if I come to you and say, Christina, my child been here with me, the whole summer. Don't tell me, well, girl, it's people got more kids. Like, no, don't do that. Like, hear a person out because a person is crying inside and they're saying, hey, this is my problem. You may not see it as a problem, but you don't get to make a choice whether it's a problem for you or not. Hear that person out. Don't make them feel how you think they should feel. And say, hey, well, girl, I get it. I understand. You may disagree with it, but that's your opinion. You can't make somebody line up the way that you feel like they should line up. So I think as women, we got to start listening to what our friends say, because deep down inside, she may be crying. Deep down inside, she may be going through depression. Deep down inside, she just may want to give up. And we just pushing them back and say, oh, you good. Don't do that. Because she may be really going through something.
Yes, hear her out. And I think sometimes if we feel like people aren't hearing us, we may have to grab them and pull them closer and say, hey, I'm sharing this with you because I'm struggling, and I am not okay. I'm exhausted. I just want to cry, and even my kids are like, Mommy, you might need to rest because you just seem like you, you right. I'll be in the bed. Y'all come find me. Wake me up at 3:30. My kids know all the time. They out there gaming or watching a movie. I'm like, listen, wake me up in an hour and a half. Bring me coffee when you come in. It is okay. Right. That's okay to be that way.
And I think it's also important too to also not allow the devil to play in your mind, because the devil make you feel like, well, dog, this person doing all this with their kids. I'm not doing this. I'm a bad mom. Maybe I could be a better mom. I think it really, true motherhood is being able to find your identity identity as who you are as a mother. Your motherhood may not look like Christina. Your motherhood may not look like Narena, but that doesn't mean that you're lesser, you're not qualified, but really being able to find your motherhood and be able to be confident. This is my motherhood. This is how I handle things. This is how I roll, and it is what it is. And let it be, because if not, the devil would definitely play in your mind and feel like, well, since I didn't do this, since I didn't do that, you may be tired and the kids want to go to the mall, and then you feel like, well, dog, I ain't a good mom, I should have just took them, but your body's tired. It's okay. You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's okay.
Kids will ride your soul into the dumpster and say you liked it.
Okay.
You will go all the places and you got to remind them, didn't I just take you here yesterday? Didn't I just buy you this? Yes, you know, and that's where you got to run them like you got the McDonald's money. Like how are we running all over the place and doing all the things, and kids make you feel like you ain't never done nothing for them ever. You like, y'all be all right. You'll understand when you have children of your own. Good night. I'm going in the room to lay down.
What since you made the post about the Uber mom, that you ain't no Uber mom or something, or you been an Uber mom?
Probably, I don't know.
That probably just on Instagram I saw about the Uber mom post.
I was like, I just cannot. Like, I don't function well on no rest.
Yeah.
I
have to have my quiet time. And when I don't have my quiet time, I get frustrated. And you know, whatever that quiet time may be, for some women, it may be a hot bubble bath. Take that 30 minutes or hour to take a hot bubble bath. Light you a candle. You know, it may be a bowl of a big ice cream. Take that. You know, it may be a glass of wine.
But you gotta eat the ice cream in your kids' faces. And then say you can't have none. I don't
want them eating around me. I want to just lay there. I don't even want the kids around. No, I want to eat it by myself on the couch, because they're going to start staring and then they're going to, can I? No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, I'm not eating it. No, but in fact, let me just get the ice cream. Because look, this is so funny. The other week I was in the house. Every time I eat, my daughter thinks she's supposed to eat. I was like, you need to get a job if you want to eat every time I eat, you know? And so I eat. I went and got a piece of fruit. I gave her a piece of fruit, but me, I was laying in bed, so I wanted to be greedy, so I went and got another piece. I didn't want her to, she was in the living room, so I didn't want her to see me with the fruit. So what I did was put it in my shirt and walk past her and hold my arm, and she's like, Mama, why are you holding your arm like that? I was like, it just hurt. But I was trying to hold it so it wouldn't slide down my shirt. So she
and see, here's what I'm saying. If she was like, I want some more, you gotta come back with the who bought the groceries. Like, and I'm being honest, like sometimes we end up hiding stuff from kids. You in the closet eating your chocolate. I bought this. You have no job. If you want pizza, you got pizza money. If not, you're gonna get this baked chicken I'm making for dinner. And my kids, they'll be like, here, Mom, here's $20. Can you bring us pizza back? Sure can, because you paying. You see what I'm saying? Like, and you gotta be like, I just don't care. Like, I'll sit right here on this couch and eat this ice cream. And you're gonna look at me, I'm gonna send you packing.
I saw this man post on Instagram, and we wrapping this up, and it was so funny. And he was like, and it just gave clarity, like, we're not the only parents go through this. This was a man, and he was like, basically a post, he was saying he gets tired of the kids begging. So he said what he do is he go get food. He know the food that he get that they're gonna want it. So he go to the restaurant that they don't like, get the bag and put the real food that he know they're gonna like inside the bag. And so he take it in the house, and he don't have to worry about them eating or asking for it, because they think it's the food that's inside the bag that they don't like, but it's actually the food that they do like that's inside.
Oh my gosh. See, I'm gonna need everybody from this podcast forward to do whatever you want to do because you pay the bills.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what their opinions are. Like, there will be days where you're feeling generous and loving and all the things. Hey, yeah, baby, I got us both. Some days my kids get salmon when me and my husband get salmon. Last night, it was 2 big pieces of what you call it. Oh, they're like, oh, fit. No, no, that's for Mom and Dad. Here's your old raggedy pizza. Don't look at my stuff. Here's your, and to help them to separate that there's the adults of the house and there are the children, and y'all are not the bill payers. Like, Mom and Dad get certain perks. Here go my 11-year-old twin with his little smart bleeping mouth. One day I said, y'all need to clean y'all room up. He said, Mama, your room not clean. I said, I have a job.
Girl, it's the kids for me.
Mommy and Daddy are employed. Do you have a job? You keeping your room clean and your chores is your job.
Okay.
So my room can look however I want it to look. I can take my bed spread off and throw it up against the wall if I want to. Why? Because Mommy and Daddy bring the money into the house. Right. Kids bring nothing but take. They take and they cute. That's it. So feel free, moms, to do whatever you want to do, eat whatever you want to eat. If your kids got a problem, have them run you them coins.
Okay. So we're gonna wrap it on up. Girl, we went way over an hour. This is an hour, you guys. But look, once we
so
get to talking, we get to talking. So, okay, if you can leave one nugget, Christina, something to a mom, just moms in general, I want you to drop a nugget. Something that stands out to you that can push a mom to be able to move forward so that she won't feel guilty about where she's at in life, and also to push a mom to move forward that she can achieve her goals. She can get it.
Well, I want to encourage every mom that's listening today to figure out what you want. Nobody can support you. Nobody can give you a vision. That's one of those things you cannot delegate, right? I always say there's 3 things you cannot delegate: your relationship with your significant other, loving on your kids, and your vision. Nobody can give you God's vision for you. So what we have to do is make sure that we know what we're going after so that everybody else can step in and support, and we can communicate in those healthy ways that we talked about earlier. Figure out what your vision is.
All right. So you guys, you have it. I mean, I know you guys got some negative, because this is a very important conversation that moms, all moms, even the best of the best, struggle with. So this was a very necessary conversation to have. Once again, thank you for just coming on to High Heels and Destiny, and just being a blessing into us. And I'm going to continue to watch your reels.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and grateful for the opportunity.
And you make mom life look good. You do.
We out here trying. You do too.
So you guys, thank you guys for tuning in to High Heels and Destiny. I'll talk to you guys soon.